Feminine and Other F Words, a place where women in business come to learn how to improve their health, beauty, body language, and communication. I'm Christine Brunelli, chiropractor and former beauty salon owner turned certified image consultant, helping you glow from the inside out so that you show up powerfully in work and life. Today's topic is about the insecurities fierce women struggle with. If you're a fierce, confident woman, there is no doubt in my mind you have at least one of these insecurities. We all do, but we don't talk about it enough, and that is what today's episode is all about. Are you ready? Let's dive in. I'm so excited, and I have to share it with you first. You are my faithful tribe. In over 100 episodes on this show, you have been with me through so many things. We've talked about body image and anorexia and trouble in relationships and how to look good on camera and how to decide if you're an alpha or omega female and where you should fit in. Should you be an online business owner or a brick and mortar business owner? We've covered all of it. My heart beats to help women look and feel beautiful, confidently fabulous, so that when they step out into the world, they engage powerfully. They set better boundaries. They make better decisions. They move forward. They build and create a life they love living. Well, my previous program used to be called Camera Ready Academy. After working with clients in Camera Ready Academy and getting great results, I made a change to the program. I laid it down throughout the winter of 2022, rebranded it, made it new and improved, and I'm changing it to be a one-on-one private curated program for you instead of being a group program. It is not a course that you don't get one-on-one coaching with me. It is a program where you might have some videos to watch on your own time, but you're going to get coached. This program is called Shine Online because I help you get more visible online. You'll look great in photos. You'll feel confident in videos. You'll learn how to use lighting and microphones and camera angles. But instead of it only being a 6-week program, which is the minimum time that I would work with you, an accelerator 6-week program to get you feeling fabulous on camera, I'm tailoring it to your needs specifically. If you want to turn that program into maybe 8 weeks, 12 weeks, or longer because you want to work on getting healthier, shedding a few pounds, really honing in on your personal style, a signature look, a signature color, that is what I'm offering. If you're interested, I would love to partner with you. You can book a free strategy call, a 60-minute call, just to explore the whole thing and see if this is something that's right for you by tapping the link in the show notes. I would love to chat with you. I'm so excited to help women tap into their unique beauty and unlock their magic and step out powerfully into the world. Tap that link and book a free call. I've never considered myself an insecure person that lacked confidence. I was in an individual sport as a child. I was a competitive figure skater. I was a dancer in dance classes. Anyone that is in any type of sport that's individual where you don't rely on a team usually takes a different kind of personality. They're a little bit more self-reliant, I guess is the word, because you can't rely on anyone else, right? You're competing against yourself. You might struggle with comparison because you're comparing to how her axles and double flips or whatever it is she's doing, figure skating, whatever it is, you're comparing to her because that's what the judges do, right? That's how we decide what placement we get in a competition. But we're usually pretty confident to get out there all alone in any type of an arena. And whether that is an arena on skates, an arena on a gym floor, on a dance floor, on a horse, whatever it is, that's a different type of sport or activity that shapes confidence in kids. What's interesting is, even as confident as I was in my abilities, I had some insecurities. As young as 17, and I've talked about it on this podcast so much, and I'll probably be talking about it again in the future, but it was body image. I was lean as a child. I was lean as a teenager, but I still struggled with body image. And as an adult, I went and took myself in my 40s on this health journey where I was already pretty darn healthy. I was a size 6, but I thought, how cool would it be to be in my high school jeans again? So I got myself down to a 0. Guess what? I didn't have secure body image at size 0. Here I am running a business, being a mom, seen as someone who is the go-to person for health, fitness, wellness. I was in the gym teaching classes. I had patients in my chiropractic office. I'm shedding weight, and you would think that would bring me the confidence that I was seeking, but it didn't. So if you're in that body image space where you really carry that, that is the number one thing fierce, confident women struggle with. If I were to anonymously interview women and ask them, what is their number one insecurity that people would be surprised about? Body image comes up. And it doesn't come up always that they think they're overweight. Sometimes it's just one specific area. Sometimes they'll say things like, and I've heard this in private appointments with patients in the past, I don't like when my husband touches my waist or around my belly. It makes me really uncomfortable because I have a pooch. That I hate it, and nobody would ever know it because I don't look like I have one, but when I don't have any clothes on, it's there. That's a true insecurity. Fierce women have a lot of different insecurities. And before I get into them, I want to just have you think about, what do you think the confident men insecurities are? I did a little digging just to find out before I was preparing for the show. And you can probably guess one of the most important number one things men worry about is wealth, followed by status, followed by body, like their image, their size. Then you get into hair. A lot of them lose their hair, but wealth, money. Money is where they feel like that makes them feel secure. But what about the men that are really wealthy? What are their insecurities? Their insecurities are still status, right? We see these men who have all this money and they're still striving. Why? They're trying to get on the rings of the ladder higher because status is an insecurity of theirs. Women, we do the same thing, but we do it in our own way, in our own feminine way. And I'm going to go through a list, and I want you to think about which ones you're struggling with. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can overcome them. All of our insecurities fall under the category of not enoughness. We have a fear of failure and rejection. We have social anxiety, lack of social confidence, or insecurities that we root in perfectionism. It's all not enoughness. But just saying not enoughness is not enough. I want to go, how funny is that? I'm going to break them down so that you know what I'm talking about specifically. And the first one is, I'm not pretty enough. I work in this area. I help you feel more pretty. Beauty is a currency in today's culture. It is, and I'm starting to see it change. I'm starting to see a slow shift of people not putting so much energy and focus on the pretty girl gets all of the boys, right? But it is still there. It's still there, and because it's there, we struggle with it. That's an insecurity. Fierce women, confident women, in the back of their mind are looking at other women, comparing themselves, going, am I as pretty as her? As she's really pretty. I'm not that pretty. Wow, she has gorgeous hair. My hair, it's like wispy thin. You could see my scalp. Wow, I wish I had those big, long eyelashes. All of those things, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not pretty enough is a huge insecurity. And working with me specifically, I teach you how to enhance who you are, find the beautiful things about yourself. And I know how to do that because I used to be that. I was in a session once where a therapist said to me, what is your favorite thing about yourself? Your favorite feature about yourself? And I couldn't think of one. I was so stuck in body image. The first thing that I said was my wrists because they're small. And I know you can relate to that if you struggle with body image, but I never thought of myself as beautiful. I hid from the camera. I stood in the back row and would pop my head out. I struggled with all of that. And when it started to change was when I went into counseling, I went into therapy, I learned self-worth techniques, but how I learned to improve it was when I opened my beauty salon. That was an amazing experience for me where I learned the techniques that a lot of stylists, makeup artists, and hairstylists know. I learned techniques like on the job going, oh my gosh, that's so easy. If I would have known that 5 years ago, I wouldn't have been stressing about this. Those are the things that I bring to you now because I can look at your bone structure, your face, your hair color, your eye color, your body type, and bring out all that magic, bring out all that beauty. But that's temporary when you're alone in your thoughts and you still say, yeah, but I don't feel pretty. That is a mindset thing right out of the gate. And I did have to work on that through counseling. You don't have to go through counseling for it, but I did because it was connected to my body image. I'm not pretty enough is a big one. And I wonder if you can relate to it. So I am the answer to that, by the way. If you struggle with that, send me a DM. Go to the link and set up a free call because my girl, I understand you. I know you. I've got you and I can help. All right, here's the next one. I'm not thin enough. Just like beauty is currency in a lot of today's world, thinness is also viewed as more educated, more successful, and more wealthy. I used to have that skewed belief and mentality until my daughter developed anorexia. When she developed anorexia, it was scary, my friend. She was eating 56 calories a day, and I know that because she tracked it on a food tracker, and she was proud of it. I mean, proud of it. And the more food she restricted, the harder it was to get to speak to her. And the more I saw her fading away. And it was pretty close to life and death situation. I had to go into counseling with her about that because I had to learn how to parent her through that. That's when I learned how bad my own body image was and my relationship with food was and my relationship with thinness was. I used to associate thinness with a lot of positive things. And now I don't. If you associate thinness with happiness, thinness with success, thinness with enoughness, I'm here to tell you, I almost lost my daughter to thinness. Don't equate thinness with health. Yes, there's a correlation with obesity and health issues. Yes, I am not going to promote obesity. I'm sorry, and I'm not going to promote anorexic thinness. No, those extremes are not good. Neither extreme. But if you're believing that being thinner is going to make you happier, I am here to tell you that is a lie. If you believe that it's going to make you feel better in clothing, I'm here to tell you it will until you're freezing to death because you don't have enough fat on your body to stay warm. So you keep wearing more layers of clothing and you look bigger anyway. And also when you get stuck in that trap of losing weight to getting so thin like I did down to size 0 in my 40s, you don't know when to stop. You don't get enough because you keep getting praised for how thin you are, but people don't realize that you've lost all sense of reality. If you're feeling like you are not enough because you are not thin enough, you're normal, but that's not going to make you happy when you're thinner. You will be healthier if you are carrying extra weight that you need to lose. There is no doubt your spine, your knees, your ankles, your hips, they're all going to thank you that they're not carrying extra weight. There is no doubt that you are going to feel more confident in maybe wearing how about this, tucking in your shirt and putting on a belt instead of hiding under baggy clothes. Yeah, that happens. But it's never enough because our mindset still believes it's never enough. Fit, fierce women still struggle with, I'm not thin enough. I don't have enough friends. I literally just had this conversation with someone. We, as confident, driven women in business, entrepreneurs, tend to be isolated. We have a lot of friends, but the deep I can call any time of the day, my life is crashing friends. If you have one, you're good. There was a study done that interviewed American women. Nearly half of American women feel like they don't have one true friend. If that's you, that not enoughness of feeling lonely is a normal feeling. So what do? Well, it's time to foster some friendships. And if you've ever heard this, you have to be a friend to have a friend. That's true. So you need to start putting yourself out there. And if you're an introvert, I'm sorry, that's going to be hard for you, but that's what you have to do. You have to join groups like meetups or book clubs or go to a gym, go to a small yoga studio, meet something that you have an interest in. Put yourself in situations where you're going to meet them. And then ask questions about their life. Get them talking about them and care about it. Don't do it just because you're, like starving, looking for friendship. Do it because you really care, right? Find somebody you have a really good vibe with and express interest. Then The next time you talk to them, if they have kids, hey, how's such and such doing? People love to talk about themselves and their kids. That's the beginning of how to be a good friend. That's the beginning of how to have more friends. Confident women are often lonely. It is an insecurity we all have. I went from having a brick and mortar business and being around people all day long, and people that I saw on a regular basis, I don't see anymore. I have to work for those relationships. I have to say, now that I sold that business and I went to working online, which is not going to last forever because I realize I'm too extroverted for that. But what I have to do is literally reach out to people and say, hey, I have these next few Tuesdays free. Are you free for lunch or dinner or whatever? I make the first move because I know that if I don't, they're busy. They're doing their own thing. They're not thinking about me. I changed my situation to put myself in a little bit more isolation to be working online. It is up to me to put myself out there to keep fueling those friendships. So you have to put yourself in situations to do the same thing. And before I go to the next insecurity a lot of confident, fierce women have, I want to say something about the lonely part. Get off social media. Fast from social media. If you feel like seeing photos of girls' night out or, pictures of a girl with a bunch of girlfriends or any of that is making you feel less and not enough. You need to remember social media is not where people post their tears on the pillow moments, right? And when people do post the tears on the pillow moments, they're usually so lonely and so low, they have nowhere else to go. And that's why they do it. Don't let social media control your not enoughness in your loneliness. Start diving into things you love doing and self-worth things like taking care of you, being your best friend, and then investing in others and taking an interest in their life, being a friend to them first. It will reciprocate back. Social media is not good to us when it comes to that issue. Okay, the next insecurity that fierce, confident women carry is I look old. Now, if you are under 40 listening to this podcast, you might not be feeling that yet. You might notice some changes, but once you're over 40 and your face starts falling, speaking from someone in her 50s, I can tell you this one I'm struggling with. This is one of mine. Now, I struggle with it for a couple reasons. One, I don't how do I say this? I want to age gracefully, but I want to do it in a way where if there's something I can do easily to make me feel younger, look younger, I'm going to do it. I have always said, someday I'm getting a facelift. Now, I don't know if I'll ever do it because I'm a chicken when it comes to that stuff, but it's because I don't like seeing like the jowls, and I have done Botox. So that I will say, do it. It's just, if you're not opposed to it, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But it does make a difference, right? I'm never going to do fillers in my lips because I've always had thin lips, and I don't want those big duck lips because people would look at me and go, why'd you do that? Because I never had full lips. But as we age, our lips get more sunken in. That's where we get all those fine lines. So there are other things you can do, lip plumpers or whatever, right? But aging is a big one. And here's another reason why aging is a big one. It's just not appearance. It's our value. Society doesn't value older women, do they? Look at all the ads. The only time you see older women in advertising is when they're advertising like nursing care homes, over 50 or 55 plus living communities. This is in the United States. Medications. Just all kinds of stuff that you're like, wait a minute, I'm personally not on one prescription medication. Knock on wood, thank God. I take a lot of interest and care in my health and responsibility, but I'm not in that crowd. And then the clothing for the older, mature women. No, I resist all of that. But that is a true fear. And the rest of the fear comes from, will they still want to learn from me? Right? Will I still be relevant in my career, in my job? What if you're in a 9-to-5 and you lose your job and you have to get back out there? I can tell you, I know people that tried to do it, and they're hiring the younger people with less experience for less money. You've heard that. Age is a real, true insecurity, a real fear that people carry. So what can we do to overcome it? Well, I just went through some of them that I've been doing for myself. I do everything I can because to look more youthful because I want to feel more youthful. So I have been dry, no alcohol since January 1. That was only supposed to be for a dry January challenge. And I have felt so good and my skin has changed so much. I'm still dry. It made a difference. And people my age, their favorite thing to do is go and have a glass of wine or two, right? But I've noticed my sleep changed. And that's the number one beauty hack is good sleep. And it's also the number one thing that goes away when you age. Did you ever hear about older people not being able to sleep at night? Alcohol contributes to that. I watch my sugar intake. I watch my salt intake. I exercise and I sweat. I do all of the hydrating facials. I do things like I have my brows tinted. And if the tint wears off, I fill them in because eyebrows fade as we age and you should have them filled in so that it makes your eyes pop. Right? I add color to my face. I use contour to hide some of, it's all smoke and mirrors, right? But you can use contour and highlight to change kind of your face. So when you're in photos, you look more youthful. I know how to use lighting in photos. That's why I do what I do with my program Shine Online so that I look more youthful. Now, what are some other things we can do? You can go the route of an injector. You can go the route of surgery if you really want to. I've never had any of the surgical stuff done. I am so afraid of it. But I know people that have done it. They're amazing. They've had mommy makeovers. I know a woman who was 57 and had a lower facelift. It was stunning. I mean, stunning. And she did it because she didn't like the lines on her neck. You know that the lines on your neck and your chest give your age away, but your hands give yourself away. So I think to myself, it's just a train, like you can't get off. You do your face and then your hands are showing. I think of someone, I don't want to name names, but I think of certain female singers and artists who are up there in age and their faces are very youthful, but their hands are skeletal. You know what I'm talking about. There are things we can do, but the number one thing we can do to avoid fearing this is work on our mindset. That's where I am right now. How many people don't get to be where I am today because they didn't make it to this age? They didn't get here. It's a gift. Every single day is a gift. That's how I'm embracing aging. I'm not going down easy. I'm not going to let my hair go gray. I am not that evolved yet. And I will do Botox. I'm not sure about fillers, but I'm going to still go to the gym. I'm going to stay strong. I'm going to stay fit. And I'm going to work on my mindset. That is to me the number one answer to all of this not enoughness, but that's how I am currently embracing the insecurity about aging. And before I move on to the next one, I had someone in my peak of being at size 0, size 2, a young kid. Oh, maybe he was like 28 to 31. I don't know. I was in an Irish pub. I'll never forget. I went up to get in line in the restroom and I was feeling pretty young, right? I still had body image struggles, but the line was long and it was St. Patty's Day. And this kid looked at me and said, "Get in the back of the line, menopause mama." And I died inside. I was like, I look like I'm in menopause? What? I had just done all of this work, lost all of this weight. Like I'm wearing, showing off my waistline and I'm wearing a little bit more plunging necklines. My hair is done. My makeup's done, all the things. And that kid said that to me. And rude, right? I would just be so furious if my kids would never do it. But if my kids would ever say something so disrespectful, but we can't control the other people. We can control what we do with it. I wrestled with that comment for so long. That is partly why I struggle with aging. That comment was in my head for so long. Menopause mama. And I wanted to so bad slap him and go, your mama would be furious with you if she knew you said that to me. But he instantly looked at me and thought I was in menopause. Ooh, I could just tell you, I get it if you're struggling with the aging insecurity. Okay, the next one, I'm not smart enough. Here's the next not enoughness for confident, fierce women. Whatever level of work you're in, there's always someone who knows more. We're always feeling like we need to improve, and yes, we should be learning. I know someone that is so brilliant, and she is stuck launching a business because she doesn't feel like she has all the accolades. But she has all of this experience and she's so well read. She's a professor and she should be out there helping other people with what she can teach, but she's stuck because she doesn't feel smart enough. What if they ask me a question I don't know the answer to? What if I don't sound intelligent? I'm not as smart and educated as this person. I don't have the certifications that that person does. My girl, those things don't matter. There is a saying in entrepreneur world that you only need to be 10 steps ahead or 10% ahead of the people that you are helping. That's going to give you traction to get started. And then the more people you help, the more steps ahead you are. The more experience you get, the better off you are. But let me remind you of this. There are a ton of millionaires and billionaires with a B in this world that did not go to college. Don't ever forget that. You not being smart enough is not an enoughness and insecurity that you should wrap your mind around. What you should be doing is staying well-read. You should be staying on top of whatever you do in your industry. You should be working on self-improvement. You should be expanding your knowledge, but you should not be stressing about that. The final two insecurities that fierce, confident women often have, I'm going to roll into together because they're often connected. The first one is, I don't have enough money. The second one is, I'm afraid to be lonely. The reason I'm rolling them in together is because you may be a super confident something, I don't know how old you are, in all the things you do, but you're holding on to a toxic relationship because of the financial security and because you're afraid to be alone. Those go together. I totally understand it. I see it. I've experienced some of those feelings myself. And a lot of that has to do with you not feeling like you can get out there and earn your own income and be paid what you're worth. And you're also either still with someone that is mistreating you and you wish that you could kind of separate, but you don't know how, or you have children and you never would. I understand that too. I've been married. It'll be 30 years in May. And I will not promise that that marriage is going to stay 30 years. I would like to think so. But this marriage has had a lot of its issues. So I've been through a lot. And I can tell you that staying in something that's toxic requires counseling. I wouldn't suggest that you do anything on your own with those insecurities. You can live alone and not feel lonely. It's more lonely to be in a loveless marriage or a marriage where you don't feel appreciated. You feel maybe used or whatever. That is more lonely than living alone. When you live alone with counseling partnered with it, you come alive. You find your old self again. Now, I'm not suggesting that you should do that. I'm suggesting that you should find counseling. This is something that a lot of fierce, confident women who are not earning the money that they want to earn to live on their own carry in the back of their mind. They're either saying to themselves, I'm going to leave when I hit this level of income, or they're saying, I'm going to just stay and I'm going to keep earning my money, but I'm not going to leave because I don't want to be alone. I'm old, or who's ever going to want me? I don't want to die alone. All of those are real fears and real concerns. But I can't help you with those in this show. That is something where a therapist, a counselor needs to get involved. And I would suggest talking to your significant other about it because those things, I did some of those things wrong. I left my husband for 3 years. I moved out. We were in a place in our marriage. There was just a lot of unhappiness. It was tense and there were a lot of things going on. And I did try to talk to him, but he was in a place in his life where the conversations didn't go very easy, right? It just was drudgery. And instead of really pressing through to work through it, I moved out and went down the street 3 miles. And I said, I'm not divorcing you. I'm hitting pause because I had to. It was like my life was crashing down. I was not handling it well. I wasn't happy. It was just time. I don't want you to get to that point. I want you to do it the healthier way of trying to sit down and say, this is how I feel. Now, you don't have to say, I'm trying to work and save all this money so I can leave you. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting if there's anything to salvage in that relationship and you really deep down want to because you don't want to be alone or away from this human, then that human deserves you to share. You deserve that conversation. But if you are so afraid of being lonely, but you're with someone that's toxic and it's unhealthy, unhappy, all of those things, my friend, that's where a counselor will change your life. Okay, so we're going to recap. What is the number one thing that we talked about? Well, first, I don't like my body image. That's the number one. And how do you do it? Well, you're allowed to not like the body you live in and want to improve it. Just don't go down the road where you don't see how far in a hole you got, where you're never satisfied, because you won't be satisfied. If you think happiness is tied to how you look, do it for your health. I'm not thin enough. The not enoughness. Thinness does not equal happiness. Remember that. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough friends. I'm old. I'm not minimizing or laughing, but I can laugh at that because I get that sometimes. It's still in the back of my mind. I'm working through it. Every single one of these insecurities requires mindset work on your part. But also, there are things you can do. There are things you can do to improve your weight. There are things you can do to improve your loneliness. There are things you can do to improve your beauty, because we talked about that. I'm not pretty enough. There are things we can do to fight aging. So we can be active, but we also have to be active in how we approach them in our mind. I hope this was helpful for you today. And if you are someone that is wanting to get yourself out there and be more visible on camera and off, and you are feeling shy, you need a coach to help you get there. In the beginning of this show where I talked about, you can get on a free call with me for 60 minutes. We can meet face to face and have a strategy call to figure out if my program is right for you. I would love to talk with you about that. The link is right here in the show notes. That's all for this week. Thanks for being here. See you next week, same time, same place. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend. And it would be a gift to me if you would go to Apple Podcasts and just tap a star and give me a review, because I do this show based on what I think you want to learn, not always what I want to talk about. And I would love to know if I'm on the mark. Okay, my friend, until next time, have a fierce, fit, feminine, and fabulous day.